Welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And I got two jewels here. I mean, the evolutionary elders. So whatever you're doing, you must sit down because we're going to give you some information that you need that's going to help you. Welcome to the Ed Brown Show, Dr. Eugene Williams and Dr. James Dula.
Thank you,
I
sir.
tell you, you
Thank you.
guys are
Thank you.
fantastic, man.
Yes,
And this
sir.
is what I was telling some of my guests earlier, about the elders working with the young people. I had some educators here, and I said, I'm going to make sure that you get involved with the evolutionary elders,
Yes.
because you guys are doing a fantastic job. And Dr. Dula there, he's very modest. See, he's the state commissioner on small business. You know what I mean? He told me the last second, but I'm still asking some questions. So. But anyway, tell us about the evolutionary elder. Is some of you all out there that this first time see what you're missing? Tell them about the evolutionary elders, and I guarantee you somebody you know can join them. Go ahead.
Certainly will. Let's talk about the history of evolutionary elders. Mr. Whitten, my co-partner, and I were talking one night on the telephone about what we needed to be doing by these young people, because it seemed that we were not relating to each other. So I said, Mr. Whitten, we have a job to do, don't we? I said, we seniors, and he stopped me in mid-sentence, and he said, Dr. Williams, let's think about that. He said, I was a senior in high school. We have to come up with another name. So we thought evolutionary elders. And so, it started, the concept, and then I met your cousin. Your cousin said to me at school one day, Dr. Williams, what are you going to be doing next year?
Right.
And I said,
she was retiring, so she was trying to keep you busy.
I said, I don't know. I said, I may just go full-time with evolutionary elders. And she said, what's that?
What's that?
And I told her that it was an organization that was designed to link the elders with the young people, and so that we could learn from them and they could learn from us. She said, well, then you need to be on my cousin's show. I said, who is your cousin? And she said, Ed Brown. I said, okay, then connect us. So she connected us, you remember?
Right.
And I came on the show.
That was the best day of life there. When we got connected.
Fantastic. And so we've been doing things like mentoring, tutoring. We help young boys and girls publish. And then we do some publishing ourselves.
Yeah.
The evolutionary elders as under Academic Resources Unlimited.
Oh,
So
I see.
It's a powerful organization. I'll tell you that I'm excited because today I was with Al Sharpton in Washington, D.C. at the National Network, the Urban Network.
Yeah, congratulations.
And, it was really interesting. I was sitting there, and they asked us to ask questions if we want to. So I went up, Ed and Dula, and I said, my name is Eugene Williams, Sr. I am an evolutionary elder. You don't need to know any more about my profile. Just go to Google. If you go to Google and you Google me, if you Google evolutionary elders, you find out what the organization is all about. My question is, where, Mr. Arnie Duncan, Secretary of Education, will the evolutionary fit into your plan of education? And his response was, it'll fit in very well. It'll fit in just as well as the tutors and all that. I said, that's what we do. And then Reverend Al Sharpton said, well, he called out the name of an individual, and that made me feel pleased. He said, and he is an evolutionary elder. Now, that made me feel good because I've been trying to get to Al to tell him about evolutionary elders for a long, long time.
No kidding.
And there it was.
Wonderful.
Al Sharpton pronouncing evolutionary elders. So we got him involved. So we really, really want to just make a difference in the lives of young boys and girls.
Yes. Right.
And then, I met my partner here,
Dr. Dula.
Dr. Dula. I met him. And when we first came out, he heard about it. And he was the first man in this county or in this nation to write me to, applaud us for Evolutionary Elders and said he wanted to be involved. And since that time, we've been working together.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
You're doing a great job,
Yes.
too.
Yes.
That's well. What about this write up on from the Afro? Tell us a little
Oh,
bit about
yes.
that. And the word, this book that you wrote, Word Cross and Cross with LeBron James. Now that's been on that's been on YouTube. And a
Not
lot
only
of
has it
people
been on
have
YouTube.
asked about you. They say, "Who is this guy, Dr. Eugene Williams?" Tell us a little bit.
We'll start with LeBron.
How did you get involved
We'll
with
start
that?
with LeBron, Ed, because it
Okay.
started right here.
Okay.
Mr. Whitney and I came on your show,
Right.
and you asked us what we were going to do for young boys and girls, and I said to you at that point,
Right.
we are writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
We were writing a book on LeBron James. He was leaving Cleveland at that time, going to the Miami Heat. We were writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, tell me about the book.
Right.
And I told you that it's a word search book. It's entitled Words Cross and Across Word Search on LeBron James. And we selected him. We thought he was a good candidate. All the youngsters like him.
Right.
All the youngsters want to be a basketball player like him. So we said, okay, then if you can practice and become a basketball player like LeBron, you can learn words.
Yes,
So
certainly.
all
Why
the
not?
words in the book describe LeBron James. But it's more than just a word search book. It has word charts in it, and it's beautifully illustrated by a friend of mine from Oklahoma City, Tyrone Hardman. I've never met
great.
him a day in my life,
Is that
except
right?
on Facebook. Thanks to Facebook.
No
So
kidding.
that's the book. And
That's technology for you.
Oh, technology. It's fantastic.
Right.
And then the Afro, that's one of our favorite papers here in the area. And when Evolutionary Elders became known, they wanted to do a story on it. So that's essentially a story. And again, I think they mentioned 4 Evolutionary Elders in it, and Ed, you're one of them. And
I'm proud
I'm
to
happy
be.
of that.
And I was happy to
Yes.
be involved because that's what this is what everything is about, the future. We're talking about children and grandchildren. We have to leave something here. Hey, didn't anyone here make it by themselves? And nobody.
No.
If you look back, your grandmother, grandfather, the things that they went through to booster you, get you involved. And where you are today, there's always a sacrifice. And that's what I always tell everybody out there. You can be part of it. I don't care what educational level you're on. It doesn't make any difference how much money you have. You can get involved. You have something to add. That's the theme. All right, Dr. Dula, this guy is quiet. He gets involved in a lot of things, and especially I just found out he was a state commissioner on a small business. So see, that's the other thing that I always push, getting into the economics of this country. We have to do it. Richard Wright, the great black African-American poet, say, you're not free unless you economically free. And that's for everybody. It has nothing to do with race. Money talks. And that's where a good example is a certain group right now controls the Senate. Over the Far East there, when those people want money, they have representation and money. And that's what we need. And the small business is the answer. I was just looking in the paper where a gentleman back in during the days right after slavery in Chicago, they were talking about small business. He's from Chicago, and he was involved in Ultra Sheen. He was a billionaire, and he was one of the first African American billionaire. He was involved with the hair Ultra Sheen, that most people are still using. And they were just saying how the business world, the small business world in African America, in Chicago, that is where a lot of the small African American business was developed. Okay, now tell us something about yourself, Dr. Dula.
I'm just
Hey,
happy to be here.
he knows you, and I know you know. So just tell us
Right.
all the things that you've been involved in.
Okay. Well, I want to first of all piggyback on what my colleague here said, Dr. Williams, and pick up where on the comment you made about evolutionary elders and raising that next generation. When I retired from the military, I was in the Air Force 30 years, and I retired, and I decided I was going to teach high school.
You were in Vietnam, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And traveled the world, saw how different cultures lived and how they respected the elder generation. And they took care of the elder generation. But at the same time, they respected them because of their age, their wisdom, and for the experiences they had had. And oftentimes, in some of the small villages that I visited in South America and Asia and in the Pacific, whenever major decisions had to be made, before they were made, they confronted the elders. And if you go back and study the history on the Native American culture, elders played a large part. When you look at African history, elders played a big part in the evolution of the village. So when I spoke with Mr. Williams, Dr. Williams, we were talking about why is it that in our country, our elders are pushed to the side when it's time to make major decisions. And that's why I applauded Evolutionary Elders, because I'm also chairman for Educare Resource Center, which is headquartered in Fort Washington here in Prince George's County.
Is that right? Congratulations.
Well, thanks, sir. And that charter was founded on providing supportive services to people in need. Specifically mentioned was the senior population. And so the programs we have go hand in hand. So when we stop and think about our society, we have to go back to the village concept. When we start talking about businesses prospering or businesses coming together to learn how to team and how to join forces to build capability so that everybody prospers, we have to go back to the village. Because back in the village, elders were placed on a pedestal. The current generation of young warriors are the ones out there mentoring to the youth, but they pull on the wisdom of the elders.
Right.
And that way, the youth learn to respect both generations.
Right.
See?
Exactly.
And so what we're seeing now is a society that says, okay, you've got yours, so now we're going to teach our youth, but they're not using the elders. And so when you get to business, we're seeing the same things. Businesses have to learn to work together because it's not something we have inherently done.
Right.
And so now when you travel the state of Maryland and you travel throughout this region, you find businesses coming together because someone has to make a widget, somebody has to market a widget, and somebody has to sell that widget so someone can buy that widget.
Right.
See? And so when you look at that, now we're starting to see capabilities being built, partnerships being formed, and I think we've come a long way over the last 5 or 6 years in Prince George's County in the state of Maryland in learning to work together so that everybody benefits. Okay.
Yes. Well, yeah, emphasis on working together. I think the churches, they are involved, but I think they should be more involved because really they are the backbone of organization as far as African Americans are concerned. And what we have to do, we have to organize ourselves financially. That is the weakness. And I mean, emotionally, we can get together, you know, and there's been recent examples of, you know, togetherness emotionally. But as far as I'm concerned, we have to get that economics together. You have to be part of the economics of anything if you're going to have any say. Now, as far as representation in our political system, I think it's very poor. We don't have any, not one African-American senator out of 100.
out of the whole country.
Yeah, out of 100.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be.
You know,
Because those are
right.
the people that makes the financial decision. You know, right now they're going through, state of Maryland's going through situations now. They got some bills, you know, that, you know, it's going to mean money. And you see how tied up it is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Well, as the governor still you know, in limbo, you know, because see, people with the money. But as far as the evolutionary elders, small business is concerned, the elders are the ones that realize these things have to be done. But we can't do it by ourselves. We have to have the young people. And in order to prepare the young people, we got to pass on this knowledge. And see, that's what you're doing, and that's what you're doing. And that's what the elders are doing. It's so very, very important that we not forget that. We react emotionally to things.
Right.
Hey, why not act financially? What do you think of that?
You know, I was very fortunate also to serve as Health and Human Services Director when we started looking at getting nonprofits involved more into the workings of government, and also followed that up by being the president and CEO where we built the largest chamber of commerce in the state of Maryland. We did that by encouraging businesses to come together and work together so that they could pursue things like procurement opportunities in the county and in the state, and be able to hire people right here in Prince George's County so that money would start to flow in the county. We hadn't done that very good up until the last few years.
Right.
And because of it, a young man that's on the council now, Mel Franklin, and Councilwoman Harrison introduced what they call CB17.
Yes.
And under
yes, I was at that conference that they had.
Right.
Yeah.
And under
Right.
CB17, it's designed to encourage our local businesses to go after the procurement opportunities.
Right.
And let's just face it, economically speaking, if we get the economic advantage through the incentive program that was created there by the county council, then when our local businesses apply for those grants and they get them, then they're going to be able to hire our children and our workforce that live right here in Prince George's County.
Right.
And then you'll start to see the funds start to come back into the community instead of, well, we know what happened years ago.
Yes.
Many of the contracts went outside the county and it went outside the state.
Right.
But,
exactly.
But now we have representation, I think, that says, wait a minute, that we have to be smarter in how we do this.
Yeah.
And so you're going to see that change that you're looking for in that way. And hopefully it'll blossom from there. Yeah. You know, take, for example, the Hospitality and Training Institute at Prince George's Community College. I was very happy when that was created because I was one of the people that had the idea to do that.
Right.
And we created it.
Congratulations.
Well,
yeah.
Well, thank you. So what happened is now over 500 people a year are trained in the areas of hospitality, so that when we get the new hotels and the new restaurants and the new companies opening doors here, they are ready to walk in the door. Right. Well, they're our neighbors.
Right.
And so as they get paid, where's that money going to go to? Reinvested in our community.
Right.
So some things are happening, but and I've been happy to see some of the elders step forward and said, you know, we can build a better system if we do this and do that, and we're starting to see it on a daily basis. More and more people with experience stepping out there and saying, Councilman, it might be smarter to do this, or maybe to one of the other representatives, we did this before and it worked somewhere else. So we're starting to see the elders come forward.
And more of that, just like Job Corps on the federal level. I had a gentleman on his director of Job Corps right here in this metropolitan area. And I had individuals that have been through the program and youngsters that graduated from the program that are working in the program testifying right here on the Ed Brown Show how well the program is run. And it's important that we make sure that the Job Corps continue to be funded because they're dealing with mostly blue collar. You see what I mean? And no matter what you say, all of us know degrees are fine. All of us here have degrees, but you need the blue collar worker.
Most
That is the guy that pays the bill. There's more people, blue collar people, than white collar. And they, when taxes come, who pays that? Most, and these youngsters were saying how the Job Corps was very positive about them selecting their career because it gave them an opportunity. You see, to choose. You know, when if you don't have that $50,000 a year to go to college, what you gonna do? If you have a trade, if you have a trade, you can use that. In fact, most of you millionaires, and you know that most of them, they're not college graduates.
No. Bill Gates is not.
They were blue collar workers
Right.
that decided that they had developed a project and they were pushing it.
You know, and you mentioned the fact that I happen to be a commissioner for small business on the Governor's Small Business Commission, and I also am fortunate to chair the Workforce and Education Subcommittee, and that's one of the things that we're looking at. You know, Dr. W.B. Du Bois said we've got to prepare the future, our children today to take our place tomorrow.
Right.
And just like you're talking
Very
about.
simple.
We're looking at programs that offer apprenticeships. We're looking at programs that offer opportunities for those that don't go to college.
Right.
Because we know that they live here. And if you don't create an opportunity for them to grow and to get a profession and to raise families, then you're defeating the whole purpose of democracy.
Right. Because I made a point to a few of the, let's see, the Patriots was one, and the council chairman, and I go to these career development, and the thing that bothers me, I'll be honest, where are the Fortune 500 companies? You know, the Fortune 500, generally when you go to Korea, they got military, they got firemen, they have everything. But we have to change that too. When they have Career Day at these colleges and universities, let's get some Fortune 500 companies in there, get youngsters into the program, their apprentice program. Let them get involved with that. I was at Flowers High School. I've been all over this county, and Fortune 500 companies are missing from these career days. And I'm making a point on the Ed Brown Show that, hey, we need to look at that. I think Fortune 500 companies are not stepping up. You know what I mean? As far as a career day for the young people.
And Ed, we also must remember they need to be there, the Fortune 500.
Yeah.
But we need to make sure, and we need to tell our young people, we need to tell our educators that we've got to make sure that preparation is very important.
Yes.
They must have a quality education. We've got to make an appeal to the parents. We've got to make an appeal to the superintendent.
Yes.
Here in this county, there are certain skills, there's certain knowledge that they must have. And I was listening to you when you talked about the hospitality program over at Prince George's Community College. I'm excited about that. Those students who go there, are they pursuing an associate degree?
Yes.
Yes.
They're pursuing an associate degree.
And some are going on getting their bachelor's at other places.
Yeah.
But you know, and you're absolutely right. We've got to make sure that we look at those things and focus on them. But getting back to the Fortune 500 companies,
You're spending your money with them.
You're
The
spending
cars
money every
and
day.
the houses, you know.
But and you know the Prince George's Community College study from 2005 to 2010. It's a pretty thick document, and it talks about the business and economic posture of Prince George's County between 2005 and 2010. And it says one of the reasons why, now this is getting into your area, one of the reasons why many companies don't come here is because you know, our children don't read and write and do math and listen as well as they should. And so if we find that case to be true, then what do we need to start focusing on?
Exactly.
Those programs that are going to teach them to read better, to write better, and to listen better. And I'm an old communications professor, and I said one of the keys to success is communication.
That's it.
And if you can't listen well enough to perform any task, then guess what? Nobody's going to want to hire you.
Right.
So we've got to learn to focus on those things as well as the STEM program, so that we
Right.
can find balance and help our children move into those Fortune 500 companies.
Right. Because really, I think that we should get them really involved, not just showing up at Career Day, but get the Fortune 5 development programs in their organizations that speak to that, as far as preparation for the youngsters to move into those positions. See, that's very important, because the youngsters, when they come to Career Day, they look, they see uniform, they see this, and they see military, and you know, and most of it's military, you know, whereas they don't have a choice.
Right.
See, but with the Fortune 500, everybody here pays taxes. Who makes the money? Fortune 500. Who do they make the money off of? The everyday blue collar. You take, I'll take the money from the blue collar anytime than that 2%, because it's more money. The blue collar represents more money than that 2% that they're talking about. You know, that the president wants to tax them more. See,
I used to tease my students and say, you know, I walk into a classroom with either a master's or a PhD, and I have a set salary. But if I go out and learn a skill like plumbing, I said, I'm going to double my salary. And it's something that many of them can do, because we, you know, in Prince George's County, we have some of the smartest kids in the world. And I've seen it in the classroom.
Dr. Dooley, that's what happened in my last show. I had, from Job Corps, the young man, he actually, he's with electrical organization, and he's teaching at Job Corps, and he was given the data. He said, the blue collar electricians, they make more money than the people with degrees. He said, because of the fact, and they have a trade in which they can pass on to younger people.
That's right. That's right.
And see, we're in a society where we're pushing that, but most of your money comes from the 9 to 5 people. I don't care what you say. All the guys are making the money. If the 9 to 5 people boycott that, they wouldn't make any money. And that's what was very prevalent in this situation, that emotional situation, when NAN decided we won't boycott. When they said boycott, that was money. You saw action.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Economic boycott brought action.
But, you know, a lot of people don't stop to think that when you talk about preparing our children for those types of jobs, unions have apprenticeship programs.
Right, exactly.
Okay? And there's a myriad of other types of companies that have such programs as well.
Well, I'm sorry, you guys got to come back. We run out of time. But what I'm talking about, we need to talk more and get involved in what you're talking about. What you're talking about, and LeBron James, sir, congratulations to him and Dr. Williams here. And actually, you have a key position. I want you back on here about the small business, because I have some things and have some people that I want you to talk with about that. They're getting young people involved. See you next time.